Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing tonight? Happy Monday to everybody, especially my wife who is vacationing with her sister in Florida. So thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. Crypto Shaped, you're all banned. Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny because every time she's ever come on, everybody said hi to her. And I was like, really? This time nobody's going to say hi to her? Anyway. Definitely want to have her keep showing up to the streams. But anyway, well, thank you guys for showing up. Y2K Anonymous being first. Thank you so much. Big Wooly, Troy Hall, Baldini is even here. And of course, my lovely wife, Sunflower Mama. Mike the Miner, Subgoblin Loser. Yes, you heard that little laugh. I forgot to mute the mic. So realized after I laughed that I'm like, oh yeah, they probably heard that. But I'm glad you got a kick out of it. Yankee, thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. Hillbilly Change XD. And of course, Crypto Shaped. I already mentioned you for your comment. Loved it. Tim I Am Crypto. Thank you for showing up. 56. Good talking with you earlier as well. Philippe Huston. King Mining. Matador. Gabriel Campa. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody, for showing up. I appreciate it. This one will definitely not be as long as the last one because I was up really late last night. Basically, what I have been doing with my farm is I am getting everything onto a single rack. And I've been making a project out of it. Anyway, so I've got the Octominer, my brand new Octominer on the bottom, which I really love. So I've got that on the bottom. And this is the way it was, I don't know, about 2 weeks ago when I first got the Octominer. Behind the rack used to be basically one of these small little Home Depot wire racks with 8 GPUs in it. But basically those 8 GPUs plus the GPUs on the rig that's just to the left basically went into the Octominer. So it was a matter of getting everything else on the rig. So the first thing that got on the rig was the 6 GPU, or actually 8 GPU, but it's a 6 GPU sluice frame. So that was the first thing I got on there. That was like middle of last week, I think, is when that got on there, and got that booted up and such. So this weekend's project was to try to get everything else set up. You know, trying to bring the RTM, Reptorium rig over, as well as getting 2 RebTech hanging GPU and GPU stand rigs. And that's kind of where the fun began. So, Matador, we'll talk about that in a second. I'm not sure what you mean, but we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, the RTM, that one, the spacing on the wire shelving is different than on the smaller Home Depot racks. So trying to get it to sit on the Baldini stands was a bit challenging. Originally, I decided I'd just put it on like a piece of foam, but it just sank into the foam, and the heat below it was just too much. So then I just figured out a way to make it work, and it works. So that's there, but that took me quite a while to kind of get it situated exactly the way I wanted it. Oh, also, my PDU, I had to kind of get out of the way. So I have it basically, instead of just being flat, I have it up on its end. And so I had to change to the 3-to-1 adapter for the Octominer, so that it could plug in from the bottom, and it's the only thing that plugs in from the bottom. Then everything else plugs in from the top. So that wasn't too bad. I had also gone out and gotten another fan, as well as an extension cable, so that I could actually put the Reptorium rig on a different circuit, on a 120 circuit. So I had a little bit more headroom for mining flux. So that was one of my intentions, was to be able to mine flux on my 3060 Ti's. So the LHR ones. So anyway, so the fun began when I tried to start doing the first RebTech build. So I decided to YOLO it and just plug everything in. And it didn't work at all. Nothing came up. I was like, what am I doing wrong? It's been a while since I set one of these up before. I just thought I'd be able to plug everything in. Long story short, I updated the BIOS, or the driver, the NVIDIA driver, which I found out later on could cause significant problems. As well as I made the major sin of plugging in a 1660 Ti into a RebTech board. So I think that also might have caused some of the problems. So I went all the way back and kept getting this NV tool error 12, basically meaning, which I figured out meant that the graphics cards were being recognized. They just weren't being able to communicate with the driver for some reason. So went back all the way to 460 point something, and finally got it to work somewhat. Worked great on Flux. The 3060 Ti's on Flux worked great. The 3060s on Ethereum were fair at best. The LHR was kicking in quite a bit. So anyway, that took me a long time. Basically did a Hive replace, constantly rebooting it, trying to figure out what was going on, whether I have the internal graphics on or off. And, what it basically came down to is I just started over. I just did a CMOS reset and set it up, basically looking at a video thinking, oh yeah, that's the way I did it. And then it finally came up and running. But that was a long 5-minute recollection of something that took hours. And like I said, about 2:30, I finally was able to go to bed with it running mostly stable. So then when I got home tonight, I tried upgrading it again to a higher driver like 470 or 495. Neither one of those worked. So discovered that there is a 465 driver, which is CUDA 11.3, and was able to update it to that, and it works great there. In fact, oh, interesting. I'm just logging back into it. Oop. Fat fingered it. It just may have timed out. Yeah, that's what it looks like. It looks like it just timed out. It seems to be running just fine. In fact, it's running here. I'll just bring this over here. So it's running so much better. Like before, this LHR would go down to like 72 and then finally stop. And again, on the same version. And now with the 465, which one is it? Bear with me here 1 second while I look that up. Yeah, 465.31 is the driver I'm on now. And it does so much better on it. But you notice something interesting here? Both of these are RTX 3060s. And that will go into our next topic in just 1 second while I catch up on the chat. See if there is anything in here. Let's see what you guys are talking about. I actually didn't have to wear a flannel. I actually came home and it was 70 degrees in the house, but I'm a little tired, so yeah, I'm going to be a little chilled. But I also went downstairs and it was 85 degrees down there and decided, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to make sure this thing gets a little cooler down here. What ended up happening was the sensor was placed somewhere different. So it was placed closer to the floor. So it thought things were cooler than it really was. I've got a temperature gauge, like just on a table at less than hip height. And it was showing 85, while the sensor that was about 6 inches off the floor was showing about 77, 76, somewhere around there. So obviously a big temperature variation there. So basically raised it up, and temperature obviously came up, and the fan kicked in, and away it went. So definitely cooled it down there. Let's see what else you guys are talking about. So you need help with co-location facility info. I noticed you have some rigs mining in Colorado warehouse. I don't have any rigs anywhere but at my house, so I'm not sure where you thought you heard that. I'd be really curious. That'd be cool if I had enough mining hardware that I could actually have a a warehouse. But no, I do not have a warehouse. I don't live anywhere near Colorado either, so. Yeah, Baldini, you ready for that big snowstorm that you guys will get nothing of? Everything looks like it's heading south now. Crypto Shape should get some nice snow, that's for sure, out of this. Matter, you have the exact same racks all over my basement. Yeah, I mean, they're great racks. They really are. Definitely really happy with them, but it was just kind of, I wanted it to look cleaner down there. I know my wife wanted it to look cleaner down there as well. So this will be a good way to consolidate everything. I'm not really planning on expanding anytime soon. If I do, it will be after the merge, or at least understanding more of what's happening around the merge. And then at that point, we'll start looking into building a shed and doing that. But right now, we're kind of in a wait and see approach, because I don't want to be building a shed during the bear market. I would rather wait it out a bit and let everything kind of shake out and see what the profitability is going to be like, and then decide what I'm going to do from there. Because you're not there to help. Yeah, my cable management is very poor. That is where Sunflower Mama excels. So yeah, it's it could have been a lot worse actually, but yeah. And I have to actually change out the which power cable goes to which power supply to match the lengths for what's needed. So anyway, let's see what else you guys are saying. He was eating pizza all week. I actually changed it up tonight, Baldini. I did not eat the last 2 pieces of pizza tonight. I actually decided to get Chick-fil-A. So I don't know if you guys saw that. Yeah, you guys saw that. All right. Yes, she left me food. She would not let me starve. There's chili in the freezer. There's some sausage and peppers in the fridge. So no, there's plenty to eat. She takes good care of me. Hey, Chump Change, thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. Killer 65 Malibu Gaming, thank you for showing up. And Cbet, I read your comment, but I didn't say thank you for showing up. Oh, and K-Spec's here. Thank you, K-Spec, for showing up. And everyone else you missed, yes. Were your ears burning, Crypto Shaped? You heard your name? All right, well, let me go into the next part, because I found this very interesting, and maybe you guys had heard about this. I had not heard about this. So as you can see, this says graphics device, but does not say 3060. Well, it's a 3060, sorta. Let me bring this over. Come on. Everybody wants to see you. Oh my gosh, come on. There we go. So if you notice down here, it says, in fact, let me make that a little bigger. Top one says RTX 3060, which, by the way, is based on a GA106, or at least used to be. But now they're making them with GA104s. Well, GA104 chips are the same ones that go into 3060 Ti's, 3070s, and 3070 Ti's. So basically, this is a knockdown GA104. But it does have a few more CUDA cores than the regular GA106 3060. So this, I think, is going to be somewhat similar to, if you remember, the 2060 KO. The 2060 KO was much the same way. It had the die from the better GPU, but it was knocked down. But in certain core intensive tasks, the 2060 KO was actually better than the regular 2060 and operated very closely to a 2070. Not a 2070 Super, but a 2070. So anyway, I just thought that was really interesting. And that's, I think the issue is that this is new. This has a new ID that isn't in this driver 465.31. So I would need to somehow figure out how to get a 465.31 into this rig. But what I'm going to try, since I already have 470 point whatever in my other RevTech build, I'm going to take the two 3060 Ti's off of that one when I move everything over to the main frame and move the 3060s onto that. So I'm hoping that that will solve this little issue and actually will show up as to what the actual card is. But it's doing well. I mean, before, when I was on the 460 point whatever driver, I mean, this was below 36. It was like 35.8. So definitely happy with this result. And it's not doing too bad on Flux either. Basically anywhere from, around 52.5 to 55.5. Some of the cards are doing better than others. I mean, this one's doing great at 55.5 at 160 watts. Definitely happy with that. What to Mine says it would be like 48 souls at like 190 watts. So this is definitely doing much, much better than that. So hopefully be able to get a bit closer during the month of February to having enough to do a 1,000 flux node, a cumulus node, I believe is what it's called. So I won't have to wait for the one where there's going to be one in second quarter sometime, which will actually go all the way down to 5 flux. You only need 5 flux to run that kind of node. So that'll be definitely very interesting. And I do have a Raspberry Pi on order that is supposed to come in about the middle of March. So we shall see what that, if I actually get it, because they're nowhere to be found. I did think about getting a Raspberry Pi 400, which is basically the same specs as a Raspberry Pi 4 Model B with 4 gigs, but really want the 8 gig model. So anyway, I just thought that was interesting. So basically now you have like 3 different models. You've got 3060 version 1, 3060 version 2, and then the GA104 model. So anyway, and this one is, what I find really interesting about this is that this EVGA version, I believe, because the last one I got was the cheapest one, the one that was $329. That was the one without a backplate. And I just find that interesting that that's the one with the bigger die. So anyway, thought that was interesting. Let's see here. Okay, so Gabrielle Campos says, what do you of the new RebTech board? Oh, what do I think of the new RebTech board? It's really expensive. Here, let me pull it up. I mean, they make good stuff. I mean, I've had no trouble. I have 2 of them. I was very fortunate to get them both at the old price. I think I paid like around 120, 130 for mine, for both of mine. But yeah, there's RebTech. Click shop. And then you got to find which one you're looking for. There it is. So you got this one, which is 210, which actually, okay, that one's not too bad, but is this the one that's probably sold out? That's the old one. Or are they still making this one? Oh, they're saying you can add to the cart. That's not actually too bad then. But the new one obviously is much, much more expensive at $349. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, they're now starting to make, mining motherboards that are very similar to this, but in a more typical motherboard footprint. I happen to like because I like the wireframe rack idea. I mean, obviously, love the Octominer, just don't have the money to keep buying those, those frames because they're expensive. And if you already, they're not expensive if you don't have the hardware. They're comparable and actually have good value. But if you already have the hardware, you have the motherboard, the processor, all that, then they're expensive. You basically say, look, a $350 motherboard. Well, you can get an Octominer for like $600. I mean, haven't looked at the prices that closely, but all the stuff that goes into getting a rig off the ground with all the internals obviously costs money. So okay, let's see what other questions you got out there. K-Spec, word of advice for everyone. If you have to either help someone move or help pay for someone else to do it, just pay someone else to do it. 100%. There is no amount of pizza or beer that makes me ever want to try to move somebody. I know, I mean, this is a number of years ago. And I don't know if it was called 2 Men in a Truck, but obviously that's a big brand now, but it was a similar type of, it literally was 2 men and a truck. And they moved all my stuff. This was when I had a 1-bedroom duplex, and they moved all that stuff to my parents' house while our house was being finished, and then moved all that stuff to the house. And we didn't have that much stuff, but we had, I did have a washer and dryer that we were moving. By the way, if you have an old Maytag, don't ever get rid of it. We have a over 30-year-old Maytag. That thing is a tank. Anyway, but I digress. Probably be a lot of digressions tonight. Anyway, but K-Spec, 100%. Gabriel Campo, what do you... sorry, I didn't see... I went up instead of down. So Mass Boost says, makes you wonder whether different firmware might have the GA10 form to perform better. Oh yeah, definitely. Because you don't know how cut down, that board is. So let's see. What else are you guys talking about? Oh, wow. New 3060 Ti coming with GA103. I was not aware. Thank you for sharing, 56. Much, much appreciated. Let's see what else you guys are talking about. Oh, hi, Tains. Thank you for joining. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'm done. If it wasn't for all this going on, I would just pay. Yeah, it's one of those things where you think I'm going to save money, and in the end it will, but time is money, and yeah, they know what they're doing when they're moving. At least our guys did. And yeah, I was in awe, and this is back when I was young, but yeah. Anyway, alrighty. So we talked about that. SundaeSwap. I don't know if you guys are aware of what's going on with Cardano, but sorry, let me keep track of my... Okay, here we go. So SundaeSwap is a new DEX, and it runs on the Cardano network. It had a test net back in December, and it is now launched as of January 20th, I believe. So as part of that, they have an initial stake offering going on where they are giving out airdrops for people that have staked their Cardano with a large number of staking pools. Not any Cardano staking pool, but ones that they did a poll. It was a popularity contest, I'm sure. But that's how they picked them, was basically through a poll. But if you stake through one of those staking pools, you are eligible to receive these airdrops. So I did stake some. And so, yeah, it's initially, it was very, very confusing because you're like, okay, where's the airdrop? How do you get the airdrop? What's going on? They were definitely not very clear about that up front. At first, there was I believe it was just the Nami wallet was the only wallet where you could actually get your staking rewards. Now they're working through drip drops or drops. I forget exactly what it's called. They're working out some details there where that's where you're also going to be able to obtain your rewards. But if you want an estimate for your rewards, they now have opened up this link, iso.sundaeswap.finance/pound/rewards. And you just put in your wallet address that you used to stake your Cardano and click estimate rewards. And it will tell you how much per epoch you will gain. And there's 5 epochs for this initial stake offering. So if you haven't gotten in yet, you still have an opportunity to get in on the remaining epochs that are still available. So right now they started out the first epoch and it's 5 days. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the second epoch is done. So there's 3 more epochs available. So if you get in by, I think it's the 4th or the 3rd, you can still be eligible for that epoch and then the following 2 epochs as well. So you might be wondering, well, how much is SundaeSwap worth? I have no idea. I have been trying to find that. So this is really, at the ground level. Who knows? I'm still going to be making money or still be making Cardano with the staking. So it was just one of those things I thought it would be fun to try. I have yet to ever take advantage of an airdrop opportunity before. So I thought this was an opportunity to actually take advantage of that and try to figure it out. So anyway, I will keep you guys up to date with what I am finding out with that. Okay. What's this called? LOL, man. Thank you for showing up. But what do you mean, what's this called? It is not too late to stake. You can still stake. I would say just go to SundaeSwap Labs Twitter, and you'll be able to find where they have the initial stake offering and give you all the details. I used to have that tab up, but I know you guys are shocked. I think I actually closed that tab because I didn't need it anymore. Or at least I didn't think I needed it anymore. So anyway. Oh, the website for, hang on. So SundaeSwap, this one is basically, I'll put it in the chat. So, oh, look at that. All the dates too. So let me put this into the chat. So it gives you all the deadlines. It is February 4th, 4:45. Oh, they even changed it to Eastern Standard Time instead of UTC. So 4:45 Eastern Standard Time on the 4th is the deadline for round 3. So you basically can be eligible for 3 more rounds. And then these are all the staking pools. So I'm staked in CCV4. As I mentioned before, Crypto Capital Venture has a great YouTube channel, great content. He is a technical analysis guy. And for me, he's been very helpful. He is not a guy that predicts whether something's going to go up or go down. What he says is here are the keys and here are the key levels where if this happens, this is what should happen. But at where we're at, it could go down or it could go up. And I know a lot of people criticize him. Well, yeah, anybody could say, well, it's either going to go down or go up. Yeah, but he's saying is if it goes down, it will most likely do this, which most of the time it does. Same thing when it goes up. He's like, if it goes up, it will most likely do this. And that can help you decide when to buy and when to sell at key points. So does a lot of Fibonacci analysis. And so anyway, very valuable guy in my opinion. But that's one of the reasons why I chose his pool. And really, I am actually going to, once this is all over, I'm going to unstake it there. And I'm going to bring it back to the Bittrex exchange because they're actually offering 5.5% return, which is higher than all the Cardano staking pools. I have a feeling part of that is due to the fact that Bittrex is taking a much, much, much smaller fee than all of these staking pools. So anyway, that is my plan for that. And let's see if I missed anything. Nice shirt, by the way. Hey, you could get one of these too, and we could be matchy on Saturday nights. Anyway. Oh, thanks, Ginger Glass. I appreciate it. If I pronounced that correctly. Hey, D Miners, thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. All righty. One of the things that we did on Saturday night was if anybody needed help with their helium miners. So if anybody does have any help, I would be happy to go through it. One of the things, though, that I just recently found out that was kind of a bummer, but hey, everybody wants to make a buck. And in this case, it probably cost them a decent amount of money to run this. But Helium Status IO used to be free. It is not free anymore. Oh, no, there it is. So it's $2 a month to do the basic package that was free. So they're not asking for a lot of money. But this is really valuable when you are trying to troubleshoot it. I have not signed up yet. I probably will be signing up because it has helped out a lot. So anyway, but this is meant for, the person who just has one. But if people have more, they can actually get monitoring and the ability to do this on multiple Helium miners. And anyway, so there's obviously multiple different packages that can help out. Let's see here. Cbet, that's a great point. So you may be able to move yours. You could reassert your location. So I actually thought about try to find one of my neighbors, because that particular neighbor was about, I don't know, about a block and a half away. And they were really close to the boundary. So to reassert for them was like no big deal. They were really close. And then I just said, nah, I'm not going to go through that trouble because they may not understand. Anyway, so I reasserted, and I'm glad I did, because where I reasserted, there is very, very few houses in that area. And I reasserted about 500 meters away or so. So, yeah, and it's been going well since. So I've noticed that I moved, and my transmit scale is better than where I was. But because I moved, their transmit scales went up. I was in a resolution 8 that had myself plus 2 other people. And so once I moved out, there weren't 3 in that resolution 8 hex. Then there were only 2, and obviously it got better for them, and I moved to another hex that was completely empty. So definitely good. But anyway, if you want to share, I'd be happy to, I could find where they are, or at least where they've asserted, but I could also see like what it would take to reassert you to another location. If you want, you can DM me. If you don't want to, have it shown in front of everybody where your where your location is, DM me and I'll help you with it. Well, that's always good when you have a Helium miner pop up in the hex next to you, because you both witness each other. So that's awesome. Dprint, how long did it take for the relocation to take effect? So that's a hard question, and here's why it's a hard question. The Helium network was having so many problems, and on top of it, the rack Helium miners were having so many problems. So I don't know if it was a network issue, if it was a Helium hotspot issue with the SD card, the size of the SD card, or if it was just flat out due to the relocation or the reassertion. So can't really tell you for sure why that is. So it as far as what happened, yeah, it took the first time I did a reassertion, I did a reassertion in the wrong spot, and then about an hour later I reasserted it again. I don't think the network liked that too much, because it took about 3 full days of nothing, no activity whatsoever. I think basically the network lost some trust, and once it saw that it wasn't moving, then it finally decided to retrust it. That's my guess. But again, it could have been network issues. It could have been SD card issues. I don't know. And then when I moved it again, I know for a fact there were some network issues right around that time. So again, can't say for sure, but in that case, it was a much shorter period of time. It's about a day to a day and a half, something like that. So, yeah. Yeah, Dpran, your location's challenging. Need to find a friend on top of the hill instead of being so close to the river. Hey, Crypto Dave, thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. Well, now we are at since nobody has chimed in with the name of their helium miner for me to look at. Well, they could have it inside their house. You would actually be able but you'd actually be able to tell by using Hotspotty. You'd be able to tell exactly where they have asserted their location. Now, with that said, it's not really a good idea to assert in the exact location you are, because people have the ability to see that. And from a security standpoint, I wouldn't. That was actually one of the reasons why I wanted to make sure that I was asserted at least a small distance away so that people wouldn't be able to figure out where I was. So when I first actually got the hotspot, I asserted away from my house. Just, I don't know, 100 meters or so. You think about it, how many houses, even if you're in a suburban area, how many houses are within 100 meters? Quite a few. And unless you have your antenna on the outside of your house, like on the tip top of the outside of your house, there's no way that they're going to find you, or at least it'd be very difficult. I do have mine on a window. So if somebody was looking in my backyard and decided to look up, yeah, I suppose they could see it. But I think that is unlikely. That would be a very, very diligent person that really, really wanted a helium miner, if that's what they were looking for. But oh, thanks for showing up, Dpran. I appreciate it. You have a great night. Tell your kids I said good night. Oh, okay. Let me check this one out. Let's see here. How is that a nightmare? Let's see. That's a pretty good transmit scale, especially considering everything that's around it. I mean, 0.71. Let's see where you're at for 30 days. Okay, so you haven't been on it for that long. But obviously you were making more and all of a sudden you've gone down. What, have you changed out your SD card yet? Well, Matador, the reason why I was saying it'd be a bad thing for people to know you have a helium router is that they're profitable. So if somebody knew you had one, they might want to break in and get it. So again, everybody has valuables in their house, so it's all relative, I guess. So it's just one of those things. I don't necessarily want to advertise that I've got mining equipment in my house. So that's my point. Okay, I'll check out late vinyl rhino in just a second. So who was skinny? Sorry, I lost track of who had that. Where did it go? Where did it go? Oh, there it is. So Gabriel Campa. Oh, so not yet. That would be, so here was my strategy with replacing the SD card. When I found out about the problem, it was operating fine. So I bought it. So I had it, and I had it loaded and everything ready to go. Because I said, based on what I'm hearing, there's going to be another time where it basically flakes out, and that's the time to insert the new SD card. And then it's basically anywhere from 24 to 48 hours for, depending on your upload speed, download speed. But for me, it was like 36 hours or so until it got resynced again with the new SD card. It also depends on how recent the snapshot is that Rack has. I think they've been being better about updating the snapshot so your miner doesn't have to sit there and try to sync all the way from like 99.4%. Like when I did it, it immediately was at 99.7 something percent. So a lot closer than had been in the recent past. Because that's the key, is that your miner has to resync with the network, and it takes time. It just takes time. So my suggestion, Gabriel, is to do that. Now, it does say synced, but it doesn't say that it's updated since 2 days ago. And this is where I really want to get that tool that I was just showing. Where did it go? Oh, right there. This is where I want to get this tool, because this will have much more recent information. It will actually tell you whether you're online or not. It will tell you whether you're relayed in real time. This one is not real time. It tells you, yeah, the last time we updated this was 2 days ago. Well, that's not very helpful, especially when you looks like you've been down pretty much for 2 days. Although, oh no, that's the average that I was seeing. So yeah, 0.027, 0.030. And those are probably, oh, you do have a broadcasted beacon. Okay. Witness. It actually doesn't look too bad. It just looks like there's big gaps. And yeah, that's the nature of the beast. You'll have great days where you're like, oh man, if I had this every day. Nope, that's not going to happen. At least not from what I've seen. So yeah, I would just watch it, look at what the averages are, and know that you're going to have good days and bad days when it comes to profitability of the miner. But in your case, I mean, the fact that you are not affected. In fact, let me click on this. Oh, I guess there are 4 other people in your hex. I thought you were like alone in your hex. But again, your transmit scale is not bad at 0.71. It's better than mine. My problem isn't the resolution 8 hex. My problem is the resolution 4 hex, where it's way over saturated. So let me go back. But I mean, I don't know what your position looks like where you actually have the miner, but you want it to be high and you want it to be outside. That's obviously ideal. If you're in an apartment or a condo or something else where you don't have the ability to put it outside, definitely putting it on a window is going to be beneficial. If you can put it in an attic, that's also beneficial. So just think high and outside, basically where there aren't things impeding it. There was somebody else that we were talking to the other night, and I was looking at the hotspots around him. And in that particular case, the hotspots around him were making a fortune. And he wasn't. And I was like, why is this? And he's like, yeah, well, I'm on the 2nd floor of a 3-story apartment building. And right outside my apartment building is another apartment building in the way. And I'm like, yeah, that's the reason why. The angle at which that signal, in order to get over that building, is so steep that the amount of diffraction over the top the signal's really, really deprecated. So yeah, it's not great. Not great at all. All right, let me move on to late vinyl rhino. Well, actually, before I do that, let me see. Oh, I was waiting for there to be issues again. Well, kind of have issues where it's not really doing that great. So not a bad idea to do it when profitabilities are down. So, all right, let me switch over to late vinyl rhino. Huh. Again, wow. That looks great. actually. Now, the profitability, everybody's been complaining about the profitability. But, man, I had something similar to this. You get this real big spike and then all this small stuff. You're like, why can't all the spikes be like this, you know? Let's take a look at your 14 days. Yeah, I mean, it's right in the same ballpark. But like I said, 44, your transmit scale's 1. Yeah, I mean, you're doing everything right, it looks like to me. I think probably what's hurting you more than anything is the witnesses. And actually, so the amount of money the amount of helium that you earn from your broadcasted beacons is also affected by how saturated your witnesses are. So if your witness only has a 0.5 transmit scale, that's not going to earn you as much helium than if you had somebody with a 1.0 transmit scale witnessing your beacon. So for instance, you can see you're doing a great job of covering to the west. But you can see all these where there's multiples in each location. And then you look off to the east. Now, I haven't looked at the topography, but if you can hit any more of these that still only have like 1 per hex, these are going to be great witnesses because you'll make more helium per witness if you were able to get any of these that were to the east, where there's only 1 per hex. So something to keep in mind. Does that make sense? Crypto Dave. Let's see. Yeah, CBET, yeah, stealing it doesn't really get you anything because, yeah, you have to somehow be able to transfer it so that the actual unit goes into your name or your wallet, and you can't do that without permissions. Agreed, but we know that burglars aren't exactly the brightest bulbs in the world, so yeah. So is that just a rack problem or also an MNTD problem? It is both rack and MNTD. So anything that was like rack V2 or beyond that was affected. I didn't think it was rack V1. I think they said also was affected. But basically, it's a matter of upgrading to a 64 gig SD card, micro SD card from the 32 gig. And it's a pretty easy process. The hardest part of the process is making sure that you actually place the new micro SD card into the slot. Because if you just nonchalantly throw it through the opening in the case, you're probably going to miss the slot and it's just going to fall into the bottom of your actual helium miner, and you're going to have to take it apart to get that micro SD card out. Let's just say there's somebody that I know that was in chat that had that happen to them, although I haven't seen that person here recently. But anyway, I remember watching a video where they basically really cautioned people about that, to say, make sure you're putting it in the slot, not just, nonchalantly putting it there where it falls to the bottom of the case. All right. How illegal is it to add your own antenna onto a cell tower? It's not about how illegal it is. It's about how bad of a charge is it going to be. It's very illegal, but is it just going to be a trespassing charge? Probably, but I wouldn't recommend it. But I'd be lying if I said, the place where I work has a cell phone tower with 2 different cell phone companies on it. And yeah, I could go over there late one night, get in and climb the tower and put one of these on there. And anybody who was on it would probably just think it was the other guy's antenna. But anyway, I'm not going to do it, but it's crossed my mind. Absolutely crossed my mind. All righty. For educational purposes, yes, right. Yeah, top of the tower. And then the best part about it is where I work, there is not a single helium miner in that hex either. And it's much, much closer to the city of Chicago. So, yeah. I was just thinking even just getting it on top of the building would be great. But I think that would be frowned upon. Sorry if I missed this, but how'd you get the little yellow lines? Oh, you mean, so this, if you're talking about in the graphic, the little yellow lines, that's just lines from a particular hotspot to all of the witnesses. Or I should say, I believe now they're doing it as who you've witnessed. But anyway, that's what that's representing. Basically, it's representing coverage, which is what it's all about, proof of coverage. I love that for educational purposes. You know, CryptoShape, it's interesting because I was thinking about that because there are definitely some abandoned towers. But do I want to climb an abandoned tower? Maybe not. Maybe not a great idea since nobody's keeping it up or checking to see how safe it is. Yeah, I don't want to have my name in the news saying somebody died climbing the tower and tipped it over. Anyway. Spider-Man, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can buy lease space on a tower, no question, but it's most likely not worth it. You make money on a helium miner, but not that much. Well, there you go, Crypto Dave. You know, ask for forgiveness. Well, I asked the guy who owns the property if I could do it, and he says, I don't know. I don't see any reason why not. Although that could get your buddy into trouble. But anyway, interesting idea. Yes, daughter, you are late. But I know you have class tonight, so there's a reason why you're late, which is a very good reason. Yeah, see, Chum Change doesn't have any reasons why he's late. He's just late. Well, he does have reasons. He's late because he usually has technical difficulties. So if you've noticed, and I want to jinx myself here, but I haven't had technical difficulties because I abide by the rules of the streamers. And I know that this is something that I know that was taught by Serpent X. And I rebelled against it for a long time, but now every time before I stream, I reboot my computer. Ever since I've done that, I've not had any trouble. So. Yeah, you probably could, but you weigh less than half of what I weigh. So yeah, there's a lot to be said. I would, if I was going to have somebody climb it for me, but no, I don't think we'll be doing that. You're too young to have a record. Don't want you to have a record. That would be bad. That would be very bad. Yeah, actually, funny you mentioned that, Seabit. Paying the guy to climb the tower is also big bucks. True, but reminds me of a story. I actually spent 2.5 months in 1992. Spent 2.5 months in Saudi Arabia doing a coverage survey for the Saudi Arabia provincial police department. It was the Riyadh province. And so we actually had a rigger that traveled with us so that he could climb these 100-meter towers to place the antenna so that we could do signal tests. And they didn't cost very much. Not at all. But of course, he was Bangladeshi. It was, It was, Saudi Arabia, which had a very classist society. And so, you were only able to do certain jobs based on what your nationality was. So, yeah. But yeah, he worked there and would send his money back home. So for him, it was a lot of money. But yeah, it was dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. Let's see. Great Scott. D miners, do you think ETH will dip after the merge? I'm assuming is what you mean. No, actually I don't. I really don't. I won't dip because of that. Let's put it that way. Will it dip for other reasons after that? Because the market or whatever? Yeah, it's possible. But again, I've said it before. I mean, miners are, at this point with Ethereum, it's big enough that it doesn't need miners. Doesn't need miners. Miners may have helped. Not even may. We did help to give it exposure. We had a community around it. Yes, we helped, but they've outgrown us. And, it wouldn't be the first time in my life where, you do something to help somebody, something, whatever, and they just be like, yeah, nice knowing you. Don't need you anymore. And that's life. So we are service providers to Ethereum. And yeah, but the real money in Ethereum and the drivers of the price of Ethereum are not miners. They are whales. So yeah, and the influx of money into crypto will also affect it. So we'll see. That's my prediction. That not necessarily a prediction of whether or not it's going to go up or go down, but it will go up and go down with the market and the fact that it will be proof of stake versus proof of work. I don't necessarily think there will be really an increase in price at all. It might, because there may be some excitement around a little bit of an increase in the capacity, because it will go from a 13-second block to around a 12-second block with the merge. So that will obviously increase the amount of transactions that you can do, because the amount of transactions per block won't change. It'll be the same. And then the other one is that since they won't be paying 2 Ethereum per block, they'll be paying a fraction of that. It will become deflationary most likely. So that deflationary aspect of it may not be priced in Ethereum right now. So as we get close to the merge and the reality of the merge actually starts taking hold, there will probably be quite a few people talking about that. Yes, it hasn't really been deflationary yet because of 1559, but now it's going to become deflationary because of the merge and the price structure of how much they pay the stakeholders as opposed to proof of work, because they're not paying the stakeholders anywhere near as much as they were paying the miners. So let's see here. Somebody's saying they can hear the fan. Let's see. $2,500 a month. Wow. Yeah, we don't make $2,500 a month on a helium miner. No way. A helium miner claimed an abandoned tower today and is now in the, I'm not sure, in the in the ER unit, he was placing an illegal helium miner. Is that really a true story, Golden Wolf? What did BoxFan say? I totally missed what BoxFan said. Let's see if I can go back and find what BoxFan said. Oh, Spider-Man. Got it. Gabriel Campa, just a hot mic. Yeah, I'm not sure what that was referring to. No, I don't think she wants to do your homework for you. But hey, I'm sure she answered. Yeah, she's in her final semester. She's kind of over school. Looking forward to actually her job that she already has lined up for when she graduates. Here comes a rush raid. Well, I'll keep an eye out for that. So do I see myself buying ETH? No, I probably not. I have a bag, so not a huge bag of it, but I have a bag of it. It is actually my largest holding right now. So I plan on diversifying a bit. I did actually buy a little bit of Avalanche over the weekend. I don't have Solana yet, but at some point I probably do want to add some of that to the portfolio. Maybe some Matic. Yeah. So, Red Panda, thank you for coming. Appreciate it. Did somebody else have a stream tonight? Somebody said something about a raid, so I didn't even know that there was a stream tonight. I thought I picked Monday for a reason, not just for alliteration, but I also picked Monday because nobody was streaming on Monday. Are we breaking up? I am totally missing the conversation around Box Fan. I'm sorry. I need some sleep, I think. Let's see. Can't hear your fans, his fans over my fans. Did somebody say they could hear my fans? Man, I should turn down the gain if that's the case. I mean, I do have my computer mining flux, so yeah, those fans are at 80%, but I'm surprised. Can you tell me, can you guys actually hear the fans on my computer? Oh, you were having fun with me earlier spelling badly. Yeah, you're confusing me. I know I'm easily confused, right? No, do not ban Panda. That is a bannable offense, Mr. Baldini. So don't even think about it. No, I do not want to do an essay. Actually, I am actually writing something for somebody else, crypto related. So maybe more on that later. We shall see. Yes, you pay to write people's essays. Money is money. Yes, that's true. That is very true. Bag of ETH sounds hilarious. Favorite mining GPU? I mean, it's really kind of like trite at this point, but it's a toss up between the 3070 and the 3060 Ti. I mean, those are my two favorite GPUs. I really like the 3070 because it has the ability to do a lot of things well. So yes, it does ETH as well as the 3060 Ti. So you're thinking, well, why wouldn't you just pick the 3060 Ti? Because there are many things beyond ETH that, like right now, I'm mining Flux on the 3060 Ti's and my 3070. And the 3070 does 70 souls, while my 3060 Ti's do between 52 and 55. So, or 52 and 52 and a half to 55 and a half. So yeah, that's one reason why I really like it. It's much more flexible. I only have one 3070 and it's in my main computer. And it is a major pain in my butt when it comes to mining Ethereum. Although I am going to double check what version of the driver I'm on, and I may try upgrading my driver on my computer and see if it mines Ethereum better with T-Rex now that it upgraded the driver. I'll have to see. But anyway, I've got 6 3070 Ti's that I really like. I think they will do very well on things that are more memory based. That the problem is that we're going to need to figure out a way to, get rid of LHR. So I think I've mentioned this before. My tinfoil hat. When my tinfoil hat goes on, I start thinking about things like this. But yeah, I'm really wondering if NVIDIA will get rid of LHR so that there's not such a big influx of GPUs on the market, especially 3000 series. Could you imagine all the 3000 series LHR that, if things get as bad as they could possibly once the merge goes into place, how many LHR current model GPUs would just flood the market? Well, NVIDIA, that's going to hurt their sales. They don't want that. So it'd be a heck of a lot easier to just fix the LHR. Just be like, oh yeah, let's leak this. Like they leaked the driver for the 3060. So anyway, we'll see. I'm curious to see what might happen with that. But do you know where he lives? Do you really know where he lives? Have you been to his house? I've been to his house. All right, sorry, now the chat's moving fast. I got to catch up. Red Llama. Hey, by the way, did you get my package today? Let me know. Oh, I didn't read down. You got your package. Well, yeah, I want to see your face when you open it up. Are you going to do a stream on it or what? Anyway, you don't have to. I'm just kidding. Anyway. Wait a minute. Did somebody say DJ Mines was here? I see yes, DJ. Did I miss him? I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Maybe mind your biz. Sorry, I'm trying to scan, but I'm losing track of what the conversation's about. Oh, Life of a Miner is streaming at 9:45. Oh, okay. Well, I'll certainly be done before then. Definitely be done before then. Probably be done in the next 10 minutes or so. Yeah, I mean, they wanted to break up with us. A certain faction of them wanted to break up with us, but once, honestly, and I think Tim Biko's a great guy, but once he got in charge of the All Core Devs group, and I can't think of who the guy was before, he was there for a long time, and he was a pro proof of work guy. So once Tim Biko got there, he was a pro whatever the community wants. And they were really pushing to say, you guys have been talking about proof of stake for a long time. We need to make that happen. And there was a lot of pressure to make that happen. So yeah, he moved along with that. Yeah, I could have you take a look at it. Definitely. Thank you, my daughter. You know how hard it is for me not to say her name? It's really hard. I always have to think about it so I don't dox her. Oh, I hate it when it does that. When you start getting close to the bottom, it just jumps. Gabriel Campa. Darn you. Stop that. We do not ixnay on the talking about that. Hey, Mining Office, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. Yeah, how was the fam feeling, Red Llama? Hoping they're doing well. Sorry, I'm going up, if you could tell. Up in the chat. Now I'm going back down the chat. That is true. Atomic Star was to make the gamers happy. That is absolutely true. But they did that with no penalty to their revenue. They first and foremost, they need to protect their revenue. So I could definitely see him doing it. Oh, DJ Mines was I didn't realize he was streaming tonight. Doesn't he know I stream on Monday nights? Anyway, thanks for being here. Hey DJ, if you have a rack miner, have you upgraded the SD card? It's a great time to do that. Let's see here. Three Fox Company, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. DJ Mindstrom's twin. Yeah, DJ, did you hear all that where everybody thought you guys looked the same? I think that's hilarious. All right, now I'm just looking at tags because I'm getting behind in chat. Well, I could just call you Atomic Star because that is your YouTube name, and I could do that. It just feels weird, but it feels weird just to call you daughter as well, so that works as well. It's probably peaking. It's definitely peaking. I have it like really close. Here, I'll turn it down a bit. Is that better? Let me know. I think it's below where it was before. Crypto Dave, ever heard what happens when people don't pay their Hive OS bill? No, but my understanding of what's supposed to happen is it's supposed to just turn you off. Like you're not able to mine anymore. I don't know if that's what they do, if they send out warnings or whatever. I don't know. I have never waited for that to happen. They provide a great service. It doesn't cost a lot. I'm willing to pay for a good product, and I think they have a good product. So I've just always made sure I've had enough money in there, and I take advantage of the specials, which is you pay, I think it's 3 months worth, and they give you an extra 30% to make it even cheaper. So yeah. RPM, it's max voltage package that I'm opening up tomorrow. Not sure if I can stream tonight. Got it. The Helium Miner has been paying my electric bill. Really? Let me think. Now I got to think about it for a second. Would that cover my electric bill? It's probably darn close now that I think about it. I hadn't actually thought of it that way. Where is it? Here's mine. Okay. Let's take a look. My 30 days. Oh no, that's definitely not covering my electric bill. It covers about 25% of my electric bill. Oh, I will have to go back. Well, I mean, DJ is hilarious. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I will have to go back and look at that. Let's see. Yeah, I just need to start doing that. I'll just start calling her a username. And oh, thanks, Mining Booms. Appreciate you showing up. Oh, it does sound better. Good. Glad to hear it. I'll make sure I save that. Probably need to turn on the gain as well because I changed where the actual boom arm is so that I can get it closer. Just so I don't know, figures that I can block out more of the background noise by turning the gain down. I just haven't turned the gain down. Need to do that though. Let's see. Oh, I forgot to pay mine, LOL. So can't use it. Okay, well, yep, it turns you off. They gave me warnings. Okay, well, good to know. Yeah, they it makes sense. And they offer, like I said, they make it very clear as to, you know, this is how their pricing works, and they just enforce their pricing. So yes, welcome everybody from DJ Mindstream. Appreciate that. Appreciate you saying that, Sunflower Mama. If nobody has any other questions. Oh, Mass Boost. What's your power rates? Wow. At the end of the stream, you ask me that question. Do you have any idea how long I could go on about my power rates? So I am on variable rate power. And that means it's market based. meaning it goes up and down. Let me see if I can find the tab. I know I had some tabs open. Gotta make sure I don't dox myself here. I know I have them open. I did not close them, but I could reopen them. Let me just go back to here and I'll reopen it. I gotta take it over here first though. Bear with me here 1 second while I bring it up. Okay. So let me show you this. So this is the ComEd real-time pricing for today. And today wasn't a great day. You know, you can see 4.3, 3.7, 5.9, 3.5, 3.6. The red line is reality. So yeah, so at 6 a.m. in the morning, and this is a typical time when pricing, because everybody's getting up in the morning to go to work. So coffee machines go on, curling irons go on, hair dryers go on, lights go on. Yeah, this is a typical time where we see a peak. So you'll see a big spike in the price. But the rest of the time, you can see that it goes much lower. So it's all about the averages, okay? So now if we decide to look at, let's look at a month. So that's the month. So you can see here, this was a weekend, the average for the day. Again, this is only supply side, so it doesn't include distribution or taxes, okay? But 1.1 cents was the average for that particular day. This day it was 1.3 cents. There were times during these 2 days where it went negative, where they were paying me from a supply side, they were paying me to take energy off of their grid because they had an oversupply of it. So that happens occasionally, but overall, like last month, I saved almost $200 on this program. So my bill would have been like over $700, and instead it was like $550. So yeah, and so my price last month, my price was about a little bit under 9 cents. 9 cents a kilowatt hour, and that's with everything. That's distribution, distribution, supply, and taxes. So everything all in. So, but again, it varies. It's been as low as 7 cents. It's been as high as 11, but it's always significantly lower than the 12.7 I'd be paying on the standard rate. Now, what I suggest, and this is why I wanted to find the tabs, because I had tabs open that showed where you could look, but it's energy.gov has information on real-time pricing. And there are a number of different markets across the country where they base their real-time pricing on. I happen to be in the one that starts with, it's three-letter acronym. It starts with a P, but it includes Pennsylvania. So that particular market has a specific price. I know that CryptoShaped is south of me. He's in a different market, but on a similar type of program. And he's in MISO, is MISO is the market there. So there's a number of different markets across the country. I think five or six, I think, across the country. So, but yeah, energy.gov does have information on it. Just Google it. You'll be able to find it. It's not necessarily hard to find, but it's especially good. I mean, I wasn't about to look through I'm going to look through every single utility across the country. No, I wasn't about to do that. But I'm sure there's other utilities that have this type of program, or there's a third party provider that has this type of program. So it can be a little scary because you have no guaranteed rate. But if you think about it, you have control over your pricing to a certain extent. The average user has a lot of control because you can decide, I'm going to do laundry at a time of day when energy isn't used as much. Therefore, the cost of the electricity. Running your dishwasher when you go to bed. Running it at night when the cost of electricity is lower. I mean, it's just simple changes like that. And again, it's not like we live by those rules. We do laundry in the middle of the day. But it's just little things. And if you don't do anything, you still save money. I mean, that's the thing. All the utilities are doing is they are an insurance program. They are buying energy or producing energy at a market rate, but that market rate changes. And so therefore, they are taking it and saying, okay, if we charge the customer this much, like I said, it's literally insurance. If we charge the customer this much per kilowatt hour, we will make sure that we absolutely cover our costs. So they're ensuring the fact that they're not going to be in debt or be on the bad side of it. So they charge a little bit higher than they would have to. Well, at market, then they're just setting a straight margin at that point. Here's the margin. And so with that type of program, with a straight margin, yeah, you save a lot of money. Like I said, last month it was $200. That was the biggest month. It was actually $196 I saved. Anyway, check it out. If you're in Illinois, you definitely have this type of program, whether you are in Ameren or ComEd's area. The only time you don't have it, I shouldn't say that. If you're in a metropolitan area where the metropolitan, the town or whatever actually is the provider of the electricity, whether they actually generate it at all or if they purchase it and then provide the bills directly to you. If they do something like that, then you probably don't have access to that program. I know town I live in tried to do that a number of years ago, and thankfully everybody went, no, we don't want our town doing that. There's plenty of other companies that can do that. We want choice. And so they thought better of it, and it never happened. So that was a good thing. All right, back to chat, because I have not seen chat for quite a while because it was covered up. So yeah, it's I can't think of, it's like I said, it's the ComEd real-time hourly pricing program is what I'm on right now. I'm trying to remember. There's a company that actually runs it, that contracts through them. They just basically run the program for them. That's all. Yeah, I mean, bottom line is when it comes to energy prices, cheaper. I mean, to me, that's what it's all about. If somebody says, well, green energy. Well, I'm all for green energy. I got solar panels on my house, but buying it from a company that says that they are providing you green energy, for the most part, most likely, all they're doing is buying energy credits, green energy, like solar renewable energy credits or some other type of energy credit to then say, look, my energy's, green because I bought these other credits to say it is. That's kind of the way it works, which is ridiculous in my mind. But anyway, let's see. What have I gotten a little behind here? Let me see if I can catch up here, and then we'll wrap it up before Life of a Miner goes live. Now he's on Twitch, but we can certainly do a, maybe I'll keep going until 9:45, so we can do a raid on him. Let's see. Raheem, how shared difficulty relate to solving a block? Why pools advertise it? Okay. Let's define difficulty. So difficulty is, I always like to think of it this way. So I have a $10 bill. I'm going to give it away. I obviously don't really have a $10 bill, but let's say I did. If there's 5 people in the room, you have a 20% chance of getting that $10 bill. And if I keep doing it, you will get that $10 bill 1 out of every 5 times. That's what we call 100% luck. Okay. If you double that, now there's 10 people in the room. Well, it's more difficult for you to win that $10. Instead of winning it every 5 times at 100% luck, you're going to win it every 10 times. Well, if I do that every 13 seconds, well, you're going to win half as much in the same amount of time. That's what hash rate and difficulty all have to do with. There's a finite amount of ETH that's being generated based on the number of blocks, which again is at 13 seconds, is going to generate at least 2 Ethereum for every single block. But the more hash rate, meaning kind of like the same thing, the more people, you will not win as much of the hash rate, as much of the reward that's out there. So that's why it's important. So now, as far as the difficulty of the pools, there's another part of difficulty that has to do with how hard the share is, like the difficulty of the share. And the more difficult it is, the more it pays out. Now, this part, I'm literally spewing what I've been told. I don't really understand how that necessarily works and why, what I was telling you, the $10, it's the same difficulty for everybody. So when it's more difficult, why it pays out more and why you have some that are more and less, I'm not really sure exactly how all that works. I haven't really looked into it, but that's basically the way it works. That's why there's pools that will advertise their variable difficulty. I know Hivon advertises that. I think I've made myself clear as to what I think of Hivon. Love Hive OS. I don't love Hivon pool because of the profitability as it compares to other pools, other Ethereum pools. So anyway, hopefully that answers your question. All right. Mass Boost asks, they're just trying to keep the grid more stable as people are aware of the influx of power usage. Yes. I mean, that's really what it's about. It's if they can put if they put some of the power in people to say, hey, you can save money if you change your habits to use power when other people aren't, that's a good thing. There was a study I read or I shouldn't say a study, an article I read, a paper that I read, which talked about, what do they call it? Billing pollution, something like that, where they make the bills complicated. But the reason why they're complicated is to reward the users, the people who are using the power, in such a way that it benefits. It's a win-win. It benefits the utility. They can have a more level amount of energy that they need to generate. Obviously, it's never going to be perfectly level. I mean, that's never going to happen. But they put that power in their hands and they allow them to benefit from it as well through a less expensive power bill. So there's been a lot of debate on this. A lot of people have said that it's discriminatory, and I just don't get it. It's a very simple concept. It's, if you can change your habits so that you use power when other people aren't, then you will benefit from it. It's pretty simple. So anyway, but yeah. Alrighty, let me see. Let's see what else. Yeah, obviously, if you live in Texas, you may not necessarily have the most reliable energy, but it's cheap. Oh, thanks, Pocket Change. I appreciate it. And no, you don't have a simple brain. Don't let anybody tell you. I don't know what people have done to both you and Chum Change. You are very smart people. Reward or electric bill passive income more for small miner. Not sure what you were saying there, D-miners. Oh, I don't want to see some people's electric bills in here. Yeah. Like I said, mine was $550, but that was during the winter. I do have solar, but you know, I had, I'm trying to remember. It was like almost, it was over 6 megawatts for the month. And, yeah, and I only generated like this past month right now, I've generated about 400 kilowatt hours. So yeah. Let's see here. You worked very hard but didn't solve it. Is that Raheem? Oh, hey, sorry. You're talking to me about it. It took you that many hashes to get a partial solution. Not sure what you're referring to, but okay. Maybe you're talking to somebody else in the chat. Let's see here. Okay, mass boost. I completely understand. We have around 140 windmills just in my county, and there's times where they have to stop some of them because of the lack of power usage at times. Yeah. And honestly, that's the benefit of you know, some of the green energy out there. You just basically turn the thing off, so it's not generating any energy. You can't do that to a nuclear power plant. Can't just like turn it off. Some of the newer ones, if we ever invested in nuclear energy, some of the newer ones you actually can. When I went to college back in the 80s, late 80s, University of Illinois had a nuclear reactor on their campus, and it was amazing because the moderator, they could try to spike up the power on the nuclear reactor, and it was a self-moderating reaction. So you couldn't do that. It had to be slow changes in power. It was pretty cool. Really, really cool. Oh, Integra guy. So you just switched. Yeah, the key thing is going to be how much power you're using, and so basically what your demand charge is going to be. Right now, I am benefiting a bit from the demand charge because my demand charge was figured like before I started adding this much power. So I'm paying like $5, between $5 and $6 for my demand charge. When probably the next time they go to do this, it'll probably be closer to around $20. But even so, I mean, yeah, great. They change it by like $15. Well, if I'm saving $200, you know, I think I'll still be in good shape. Let's see. Well, I think I've caught up, and it is 9:35. Any other questions as we start to wrap this up? Is that a game show? The 100? Is that the one that Bob Saget used to host? I watched like zero TV. I shouldn't say that. Yesterday, I watched both football games. And that's way, way more TV than I've watched in a very, very long time. I actually started to watch Pearl Harbor, but then I needed to use my TV down in the basement as a computer monitor so I could see what the heck was going on with that darn rig. So I didn't never watch the end of it. Oh, I was talking about the proof of work, not you. Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, no worries. You know, it's one of those things where I don't know if you guys ever watched. Oh shoot, Chum Change, help me out. What are those two guys, and they are texting each other and getting completely different reactions? Maybe Pocket Change, you can help me. But it's hilarious because there's one guy's like, "Yeah, sure," and the other guy's, "Oh, that's where you're gonna go with this." Anyway, it was very funny to watch them have two completely different reactions to the same conversation. And yeah, that's what happens sometimes because you don't know what somebody else's inflection or the point that they're trying to make. That can happen at times. So no worries at all. Let me think if there's anything else. So I really want to rate Life of a Miner. I haven't watched him in quite a while. I used to watch him quite a bit. But cool guy. Definitely a cool guy. You've never seen any. Now you're going to make me look this up. I cannot think what the guy's name are. Raymond. It is making me crazy. It should like pop up. Let's see, comedy. There it is. Key and Peele. It is hilarious. I am going to post this because I think it's absolutely hilarious. I won't play it on here, but it is very funny because I'd probably get in trouble if I did. Anyway, Key and Peele is funny, but I found this one very, very funny. There was just some things happening around that particular time where I knew some friends that were having a conversation where they were kind of missing each other. And yeah, I found this extremely funny because it described the situation. Yours is the only stream I can't turn on notifications. I have no idea. That's strange. So you can't hit the bell and have, it show up so it notifies you as a you of all? It might be a matter you might want to unsubscribe and resubscribe. I know that other people have found that, yeah, they're not getting notifications and that's like the only way to fix it. And that's just a problem with YouTube. Yeah, interesting. Actually, the only update I have is I have to schedule something with Tim Biko and we'll get an update out. But so far, it was funny. Red Panda had actually said, Max Voltage, I don't know how the heck you listen to these Hardcore Devs calls. They'll put you to sleep. So I did stop listening to them because Tim Biko has put out summaries of the call on Twitter now. So that's basically where I go to get the information. And then if there's any particular information where I want to get more, then I will go to that particular part of the call. But so far, I really haven't had to do that anytime recently. So right now, it's still looking like June is everything I've heard. I've heard Vitalik saying possibly July. I think he's just trying to hedge his bets a little bit. But I think June is very doable at this point. Maybe it's July. I mean, you think about 1559. So they were planning on June. It didn't happen until August. So could I see that same thing happening again? Yeah, because they were on target for June. They just wanted to take a little bit more care because it was a huge change. Well, this is a huge change. So is it possible that they could go to August? Sure. Unfortunately, that's not going to be a good thing for the network because the difficulty bomb will kick in. And I think if they do something like that, they are not going to extend the difficulty bomb. They're going to let the difficulty bomb kick in. Blocks will probably go from around 13 to possibly as high as 14 seconds. So, which is considerable. That's a little bit less than 10% increase, which means that's going to be a 10% decrease in capacity on the network. So, I don't know. We'll see. It's one of those things where there's still a lot of things that can happen. I truly believe that right now, I think that they're going to be right around the June timeframe. Nothing has led me to believe that it won't. I'm glad you liked it, PB Geek. Yeah, I probably lost half of you as you clicked on that link and coming back and going, what the hell's he talking about? I went and listened to that thing, which is only like 2 minutes and 46 seconds. But Oh, good. Glad to hear that, Photowizer. Yeah, I've had that problem with a few people's channels where I just like, why am I not getting notified anymore? And then you do that and it goes back and it's fine. And I've heard a couple other YouTubers talk about that. Yeah. Not as funny as you, DJ Minds. Not as funny as you, but definitely funny. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've watched a few things with them, but that was one I hadn't seen until somebody, showed it to me. And yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that. Anyway, alrighty. Well, it is 2 minutes till. Let me see if I can find the link to Life of a Miner, who is on Twitch. Let's do that first. There we go. Well, here, I will just link to his channel. He currently says offline. Oh, no, he just literally started. And so it's on stream starting soon. But there is his link to his channel. Tell him I sent you. I would appreciate it. And thanks everybody for showing up. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on a second. Hobbyist just showed up. Can't leave yet. My Helium Miner is finally back up. LOL. I had to swap the 64 gig micro SD card. Cool. Well, glad it's back up and going. Alrighty. And with that, thank you everybody for showing up. I really appreciate it. If you like this kind of content and you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit the like button on the way out. You guys have a wonderful night.